Hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here. I have the beautiful Jenny Turnick with me. This recording is being done because of a beautiful Spring Equinox gift giveaway. However, I think it's going to be a beautiful standalone because it tells a little bit about Jenny. It tells a little bit about, getting to know her a little bit more. So I'd love to start, first of all, with a little bit of her bio and who she helps. And then I have 4 or 5 really fun questions that I want to ask her. So, Jenny has worked part-time as an energy healer for years, connecting with angels and exploring various healing modalities in a continual search for deeper answers and transformative tools. Her primary income, however, came from work that left her feeling uninspired and trapped, as if she was stuck on a giant hamster wheel. Now, we've all heard that or felt that for sure. So, thank you for putting that into words, Jenny. Everything changed when she made the bold decision to align what she would do with who she truly was. Now she supports women who feel stuck, whether in their work lives or a sense of oneself, to move beyond the frustration, fear, and uncertainty to live the lives they want. So, in essence, that's so powerful. She basically helps awakened women, seekers who feel stuck and frustrated to step into their most vibrant and meaningful lives. So, first of all, hi, Jenny. I'm so excited you're here. And we're
Hi.
we're we're oceans away from each other because we're on totally different continents, aren't we?
Yeah, thank you so much. Lovely to be here, Sandra.
Yeah. So I'm Canadian and you are
South African.
South African. So I love that. I like just totally two different hemispheres, in fact. And I am in the process of moving from winter into spring. How about yourself? Is it the same seasons?
It's still pretty hot. We're in summer. We're gonna move soon into autumn. What
Wow, I love
what
that.
you call fall.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
call
Like,
autumn. Yeah.
I knew what you meant by autumn. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different here. This is I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to press the wheel. And this is the question I'm asking you right now.
Oh, this is fun.
There you go. So what's one lesson you wish you had
Ooh.
learned sooner?
Um, Probably not to try and go lone wolf and do everything myself. I tend to be a little stubborn, or I certainly was in the past, where I'm like, no, I've got this, I can do this. And I've realized you really do need to reach out for help. And I always knew we do this best in a community. So that wasn't really a learning curve. That was something that I knew, but it really dropped in on a deeper level. How important just community is and other women in your sphere and not trying to go it all alone. But I think I took too long to
Oh,
really let that get in there.
I first of all, I really love what you're talking about because it's so true. It is the community is massive, and having an intimate group, and even to having an intimate person, and I don't
Yeah,
mean a spousal partner or something like that.
yeah,
What I mean is that one person that you have those little bit more in-depth conversations, or maybe around your business, maybe about around your spiritual journey, whatever it is. It's really kind of stepping into that a lot more. And I want to point out to you that you said I started too late. You know what? Whenever you started is absolutely fine, right?
this is also true. Yeah, no, even just one or two people that you can really bounce things off with and that support you and you support them, it makes a world of difference.
Love
Yeah.
that. On to the next question. Bear with me
Okay.
here. I have a bunch of wheels set up here. I'm not sure if you can tell that on the top or not. Da, 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 da. What's a dream travel destination on your bucket list?
Um, Italy. I've been around most of Europe many years ago, but I went all over the place. I ended up living in Santorini for a year and a half, and I've traveled reasonably extensively, but I kind of skipped Italy out. Actually, I kind of went through Italy on a train without a visa many years ago because I was told I didn't need one. And then I found out I did. So I kind of went straight through and obviously never got to see any of it. And I would love to go back and explore the countryside. And it feels like the thing that's waiting to really be discovered.
I love that. There's a person in my community who this past year she was very conscious of the different states of the United States that she's been in. And there was one on her bucket list. And she was able to go to a retreat last year that was, I think, about 2 or 3 hours drive away from this one corner of this little state that she had not been to. And so she made a point of making sure that she drove over there, even though it was just a flip, like a quick turnaround in and out. But she can now say that she's been there. So I love that. And it's such a beautiful country from what I've seen online. We're avid mountain bikers, so we've seen the mountain biking aspect of it, and I would love to go there as well. Beautiful. What's the one thing that you would do while you're there?
I'd explore the countryside, like the little towns and the vineyards. And obviously I'd like to see Rome and see a few of the big sites. But yeah, I'm really excited to explore the countryside.
Love it. Love
It
it.
looks very quaint, some of it.
Exactly. Okay, next question. This is fun. I'm removing the questions after you do it as well. So,
Sure.
if you were an animal, what would you be and why? You were an animal, what would you be and why?
I would be a bird. I'd
Mm.
be a raptor so that I could fly really high. I've always been intrigued by flight and drawn to flight. And in fact, I was a skydiver for 15 plus years, got a bit of an adrenaline junkie. And yeah, just flight pulls me, After skydiving for so many years, sky's blue, you're looking up into it. It's like an automatic reaction.
I love that. I
Mm.
want to ask you a further question with this because my sister and her husband have gone skydiving, and a person in my community has gone a number of times as celebratory things with relatives like her sons and things like this. And my sister, they've gone once, and her opinion is we are unable to go a second time. We're unable to go a second time because we loved it so much. It
Oh,
is so
right.
addictive.
Oh, yeah. I, it was a huge part of my life for many years. And honestly, I didn't have a lot of money then, and I would gauge everything by how much a skydive cost. Like, do I need to buy that? Do I need to eat that? No, it was my currency for like
Mm.
a good number of years. So yeah, it's totally addictive.
I love
It's
what you
amazing though. It's so amazing. So exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm really happy that I kind of spurred that a little bit deeper because you also said that something that's really important for people to hear. It was the meaning behind how you treated your financial situation. And I can definitely understand that. We've actually had some really interesting conversations of late, not you and I, but other people and
Mm.
myself around I was doing something because I really found the meaning of doing this. There was a bigger purpose behind my doing something, and you're really driving that home, that finding that thing that you are really passionate about,
Yes.
and then you can step into that with a way firmer resolve, I guess, if you will, right?
Yeah. No, I was there every weekend for, a section of not the whole 15 years, but especially certain times. I was there every
Mm,
weekend, all weekend. I would kind of say no to other things because it was that good.
wow.
It was lovely. And obviously a whole group of friends but just that the feeling of flight and especially I don't want to go too much on the tangent, but you have these big parties where there's big planes and gatherings. It's called a boogie. And then you're jumping out of a hook and there's like 250 people and you've got a tailgate ramp and you dive out. Things like that. It just, oh,
Like my hair standing up.
talking about it again now yeah, it doesn't go away.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. What an incredible question to be asked, eh? Right on. Okay, let's go on to the next question. What's one belief? I guess I gotta wait for it to quit clapping, right? What's one belief or mindset shift that changed your mind, changed your life? So I'm gonna say that again. What's one belief or mindset shift that changed your life?
I think just the idea that we're consciously evolving, we're on a spiral moving forward. So we can't actually make mistakes. Everything is part of our learning. And with the way things are moving now, we don't have to sit and work on this little piece and release that. And then the next little thing, like an onion, we can just decide and
Mm.
just drop things and transmute things in the new energy. And that was huge for me of not following this path of, okay, what have I got to fix? Next thing, drop it, move on. Like that's old energy. So
Wow.
that was a radical change.
I love that. And it really drives home. Yesterday, I had been playing around on my phone, and there was a reel that was one of those ones that it's the card. And if you basically you take a
Mhm.
screenshot, and I accidentally took a screenshot, and it was the coyote. And so then I made sure I was taking the screenshot, and I took the screenshot again, and it was coyote. So it was so apparent that I needed to have this coyote come up. And I was playing with the energy of looking a little bit more deeply at what that meant. Like I'm really feeling the energy of what you said there because
Yeah.
uh, coyote's a trickster. So it could have been playing tricks on me. And yet I recognized that I had drawn that card twice in a matter of seconds. And it was about balance. And yesterday, what I had done was I had taken, gosh, what was it? Probably a 6 hour turnaround with a drive plus 4 hours helping a family member. And that was my break from being at my computer for days on end. So it was finding that balance, and balance is work and play. And I really felt like it was play. I got to sit beside my husband. We just had this beautiful, comfortable ride together in going in. He came back in a different vehicle. I got to stay and hang out with my daughter for quite some time. So it's finding that balance. So I love where you went with this mindset and belief. Thank you. Yeah. Let's move on to the to last question, and then I'd love to ask you about your gift for the gift giveaway. So here we go with the last question.
Oh,
What's your favorite childhood TV show or movie?
yeah, that is difficult. There's so many. Um, Very much the fantasy adventure stuff. I'm trying to think. I loved E.T. Yeah, as a child, I guess E.T. and Star Wars.
I love it. Yeah. And it's so funny because I think even just in saying the word, we like, what's the first image that you get when you think of the word, the ET movie? What's your first image?
The E.T. phone.
And it's so funny because that's iconic. It truly is
Yeah.
iconic, right? I love that. Because that's immediately what I thought too was the little dude, the little being standing there with his finger lighting up on the tip.
And if you
E.T.
think of
phone
it,
home.
actually, that's connection. So it's kind of become a full circle to what I'm doing now, if I think about it on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And what's so powerful about each of these questions is it kind of gives us a little bit more of a flavor of who you are and really starting to understand you at a different level. And what I want to share now is your incredible gift that you have for the spring equinox, the gift giveaway coming in the middle of March. And like I said, this is a beautiful standalone anyway, just to get to know you better. So if you're watching this and the spring equinox is well past, and I'm talking about for the Northern Hemisphere, That information is still valid because you get to know Jenny a little bit further. So your gift is your Path to Fulfillment and Purpose quiz. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I thought, what can I do to help people kind of to start to see where they're at?
Mhm.
And the best way to start anything really is observation. It's seeing where you are now so that you can take a really good look at that in order to see what you want to change and how you want to move forward. So it's always clarity first. So it's very simple quiz. It's not a lot of questions, but the idea is to sit with each question and really, like, don't just rush over it, to sit and think, where am I really at with this question? So it's
Mhm.
basically to work out what areas of your life you need to give more focus to and what areas of your life you are actually in flow with that bring you joy. So sometimes we think, oh, we got this part figured, but when you really sit with the question, it might not be, and vice versa for some. So it's kind of a taking stock, getting that
Mm,
starting point of different life areas.
yeah. Thank you. You brought up a huge point again, and obviously I keep honing in on these. The taking a moment to actually answer the questions versus just shooting
Mm.
off an answer. I think that's a very, very powerful thing to witness because we often get caught up in this trap of we need to do things quickly or even yesterday, like I said, I was in the city helping my daughter in that and I kept feeling this pressure that we needed to move fast. And it was like, no, slow down, enjoy the moment, right? And because of that, I was able to shift into actually enjoying the moment. So with your advising people when they do the quiz to actually take a moment and take stock and reflect on themselves a little bit more deeply, that they'll get I believe, truly a even more accurate answer than they might have if they just had zoomed through it. They would have actually decided to recognize themselves. And we all know that when we start to turn in and look at ourselves a little bit more deeply, it is so fulfilling and powerful to do that.
Absolutely. And even just looking at something very closely, because you're putting your attention on it with that level of detail, things already start to shift. And sometimes we make subtle changes in our life without consciously having to, we don't always have to have this huge big plan. You can just approach things in a different way with a different energy, give it a bit more focus, and things subtly shift a little.
Love it. Love it. So everybody, if you are watching this currently, or catching the emails where the Spring Equinox Gift Giveaway is available, then look for Jenny's in there and it's your Path to Fulfillment and Purpose quiz. Thank you so much, Jenny, for playing along and letting us get to know you a little bit better. I really appreciate you.
It's been great. Thank you. I feel like I've let out my kind of geeky side and my slightly wild skydiving side, and which I wasn't expecting to do, but it's been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.